translations.
I agree.
One of them agrees with my position 100%.
Sure. Let's look through how the translators translate.
In this or my one?
Have we got multiple translations that we can
Of this
look
one?
at?
That's what I was saying, yes.
Right
here.
Can we read them, please?
Okay. All right. So this is, what was the verse? Is that the right verse?
75, 22 and 23. 75, 22 and 23. And then if it's all right, I'll read the various translations.
Sure. Well, that's what I want to do here, bro. I like having discussions. Right. So here,
May
the
I?
verse. Yes.
Am I all right to hold your phone?
There you go.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Can you hold your phone?
So, I'm just going to read all the translations. Sahih International. Some faces that day will be radiant. Pictorial. Wait. Can we have the two verses together?
No, that's Sahih International. That's Pickford. That's Yusuf Ali.
Yeah. What verse are we on? 22. All right.
Yeah, that's the same verse, isn't it?
One second. Yeah, I think it is.
I was a translator, qualified translator, but not in Arabic, a different language. But I know Arabic.
No, hold on. I want the next verse. 23.
Okay, so that's 22.
Translate
I believe in muscular Christianity. Tonight.
Hold on, wait. Look at this
23.
one. Look at Muslim Khan. Some faces that day will be.
Sorry, no, it's 23, not 22.
No. But look at this one.
Yeah.
It's 22 and 23.
No, it's 22 though. It says 22. You've got 22 Hyde.
But I'm saying the one you've got is 22 and 23 what you're showing. Yeah. So now, looking at our Lord, looking towards their Lord,
Yes.
looking towards.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So now my point has become stronger because multiple translators
I agree.
from multiple backgrounds and multiple situations
All Sunni, by the way.
are all translating it. Listen. Sahih International, looking at their Lord. Pictorial, looking towards their Lord. Yusuf Ali, looking towards their Lord. Shakir, looking to their Lord. Muhammad Sawa, and look forward to receiving mercy from their Lord. That's a very liberal translation, clearly. Arbery, gazing upon their Lord. So now multiple translations have just made my argument stronger.
In what way?
Because it shows that the translation of Yusuf Ali is correct. It should be translated
I would
as
say
looking towards their
not
Lord.
really. That's what I'm saying.
Because
I hear
your
what you're saying.
argument is based saying
No.
your argument is saying that this word looking should not be translated as looking.
No, that's not my argument.
So what is your
What I was
argument?
saying. I'm saying to understand what the verse is saying fully, you would need to go back to the Arabic expressions. I agree what you said in relation to linguists, but most of them are trying to veer around the Sufistic explanation. So therefore I said, in relation to this, anything to do with the hereafter in general is going to have some mystical slant to it. Do you understand?
I get your argument.
So I'm saying to you, from a literal perspective, as you're saying,
Let's just settle this argument.
go.
Do you believe as a Muslim that Allah can enter into his creation?
The most basic answer is no, because Allah is beyond creation, and creation is like an illusion, as the Quran says, and Allah is the only reality.
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I get that. Now answer this question. Is vision a created thing?
It is indeed.
Does it say they are seeing their
Okay.
Lord?
All right, you want me to go deep? All right, I'll go deep. Let me
Does it
just
say
go
they're
deep.
seeing
You
their
know,
Lord?
let me just go deep. Okay, wait, stop, watch. I'm going to smash it. Unfortunately, you forced me now.
Is that a bright idea?
No, it's not that.
Go on.
It's just I normally don't talk about this. Wait. You've just forced me now to go into this. Do you agree that all vision that we have is light coming to the eyes?
I believe. No.
Hold on. Light coming to the eyes, translated into electrical signals, interpreted by the brain, and recreated somewhere else.
In the world, in this world, yes.
Right, hold on. Is this thing we call vision, is it the brain doing it? Is it the self doing it? What is doing it?
It's the brain doing.
How do you know it's the brain doing it? The vision itself. I'm saying when the image is recreated, because if light is coming to our eyes, how do we know what's really outside?
You can do brain scans and activate different parts of the brain.
Yes.
And we see it work, and you can actually identify the part of the brain that is connected to the ocular nerves that go right to the back of the head, which is weird, but there you go. And they actually, our eye sees the world upside down, and our brain turns the vision back again.
Okay. But no, you missed the point, sorry. I'm saying, when it comes to reality, when you talk about the creator inside or outside, yes? This is what I used to debate the Salafis with like 20 years ago, yes? And the same subject. So I said, when you ask the question, do I believe he's in or out, etc., I'm saying creation is, as we experience it, is an illusion in the human mind. That's what I'm saying. So when you say, is Allah in creation, if the creation that we believe is real is in fact an imaginary thing and Allah is a concept, then what do you mean he's in it? Do you understand that point?
I do.
Right.
Because you see it, you're saying that only Allah is the ultimate reality,
yes,
the only real reality.
Right.
And that this world is illusory.
Right, so humans don't actually know what's going on.
1 second.
Okay.
Here's why I think you're wrong.
Go ahead.
Because now you've just got yourself into a whole bunch of other trouble.
Not really, but go ahead.
You have.
You're forcing me to talk about things I don't want to talk about. Go.
Because God is not a liar. An illusion is a lie. God is not a liar, and there is no deceit within him.
Right.
If God has, by your logic, made this an illusion, then God has deceived us, and the father of lies is the devil.
Hold on, that's not quite what I said.
One second.
Go ahead.
Furthermore, I'm not sure that you actually understand which part of creation I'm saying Allah is entering into.
I understand that.
Which
But
part?
you misrepresented me.
Fine, you can correct me. Which part, as well as correcting me, which part of creation am I saying that Allah is entering into?
You're saying in the hereafter. I'm saying to you,
Which part of creation?
Which part of creation?
Yeah, which
You're
part?
talking about in the heavens.
Right, to clarify, to be absolutely clear, I am saying that he is entering into that part of creation that we call vision.
The part of creation that is vision.
Yes.
Okay, what is that when you say that?
It is sight. It is to behold something.
Right. So I'm saying to you, do you agree the human perception and experience is that we see with our eyes? Yes or no? The experience is that you see with your eyes, yes or no?
Of vision?
No. Listen to the question.
Yeah.
Human experience is that you see with your eyes. With your eyes. That the eyeball is the thing that sees. That's the experience
No,
we
we
have.
see with our brain and our eyes permit us to see.
No, that's science. You heard that from scientists.
And they're right.
Listen to what I said. The experience, for instance, if no scientist ever told you about the brain, you would have just thought, well, these eyes here, they move that way, and I see with these things here.
No, you see with your brain.
Listen, that's science. I'm saying the experience that you have, until a scientist told you about
the
that,
experience,
is
the phenomena of vision happens in your brain.
No, but listen to the question.
I have.
No, you haven't. You keep talking about phenomena and so on. Science. I'm saying a human being experiences
Sight.
this particular thing.
Where?
That when you're seeing, no. You're going to science. You're not a scientist. So let's stick to the question.
I'm not wrong either.
No. We're not talking about science. I said specifically to you, this thing where, and I'm wondering why you're dodging this question. Listen to the question. Human beings' experience of this world through the eye, although we know through science the brain can translate, but we experience it to be the eyeballs, yes or no? If you were 10 years old...
Okay, bro, either I don't understand the question you're asking, because the only way that I can answer the question you're asking as I understand it is that it happens in your brain.
Okay.
I can't give you another answer because I
Did you
don't
know
have
that
one.
before you read that or heard it in science? Did you know that before?
Well, obviously I learnt it at school.
Right. So I'm saying to you, the experience, not the study of it.
Yes, the experience occurs in the brain. I can't give you another answer. I don't know what you're getting at. Try another question. Try rephrasing the question.
Okay. As you're walking along, whatever you're seeing, before you hear that you even have a brain, okay? You're using these two things in your head, and you believe that these two things are what actually see what's out there. You need scientists to tell you the image is turned upside down the other way, and the signals...
Are you talking about common perception?
If you want to call it common perception, however you want to say it.
So
I
like
said experience.
a naive, innocent way of understanding vision. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes, let's put it that way. However you want to put it.
Okay,
yes.
If we're talking about a naive, ignorant perception of reality, then yes, most people would say they see through their eyes.
Right, so that's the normal visual perception that we have of this thing.
No,
but that's not reality.
that is a childish perception of vision that is inaccurate.
Hold on. When you say childish, how many disciples understood that it's in the brain?
pretty sure all of them.
Really? Give me
might not.
one scripture that says that any of the disciples understood that imagery was recreated in the brain.
The Bible is, you're getting way off the topic.
No, I'm not, because what I'm pointing to is where you said about illusion and creation and so on,
Yes.
and I'm saying to you, the way that we naturally perceive this experience of vision is that we see with the eyes, but then you're saying science, on the other hand, tells you that it's in the brain that decodes light and electrical signals.
Are you
So I'm
saying? Are you saying that God is a liar?
No, I'm not.
So
I'm saying to
is
you,
this an illusion or real?
I'm saying to you, the illusion is that we are deluded until we come into knowledge, right?
Yeah, carry on.
That we are born into the illusion that we see with the eyes. Do you understand?
I get what you're saying, but you're not actually
I'm addressing it directly.
right.
As a baby, we're born, yes. God created us. In other words, God didn't make us know straight away.
Let me
that
come
it is
back to the
brain. Hold
text.
on.
How
Hold
does
on.
this
No,
apply
stop,
to the
stop.
text?
I'm going to show you.
Apply it to the text.
Directly applying it to the text.
All right, apply it
when
directly
you
to
spoke
the
about
text.
vision, and I'm saying to you,
Go on.
when you get into vision,
Yes.
as you're trying to say, I'm saying, what exactly is that? Because
Yes.
you asked me,
Yes.
do I believe that Allah can come into His creation?
Yes.
So I'm saying to you, everything we know about creation
Yes.
is in the human brain,
Yes.
and therefore in the human mind.
Yes.
So you're actually asking me, do I believe that Allah can come into the perceptional, recreated reality
Let me
that we have in our
let's try and
minds?
cut to the chase. 'Cause
Do you understand? Your question's
I
deeper
think,
than what you think.
I think you're.
I'm not running.
No, you're not running, but you are waffling.
No, I'm not waffling at all. I'm
So,
being scientific and
okay,
deep.
no,
I'm
let's-
being real.
Let's cut into it. You're trying to be philosophical.
No, I'm not.
So-
I'm being scientific.
No,
And
no, you're really not.
I am.
But let's come to the question, right?
Oh,
when it says looking towards their Lord,
Yes.
is that speaking of a real experience or not?
It's speaking of the experience. It could be speaking of the experience of what looking actually is. Because what is looking? There you go.
So
What is looking actually?
looking is
in
vision.
reality?
It is looking is a created action.
Which is what?
Looking is a created
Which
action.
is what?
It is a creation of God.
Yeah, which is-
It is the act of seeing.
Yeah, which is what? That's what I'm saying.
The act of seeing is the act of beholding. It's a vision.
Do you see how the more you try to describe it, beholding?
Yeah, but-
do you see how you're getting
Don't
stuck?
you realise that all you're doing is reducing the Quran to nonsense?
No, I'm not.
You're
I'm
saying that
to
its
you-
words don't mean anything.
No, I'm not. What I'm saying to you is,
This is your Quran we're arguing about.
stop. What I'm saying to you is, when it comes to the hereafter,
Christian.
in both of our scriptures, it has to be more on a basis of we can't quite comprehend it, but it needs to give us something kind of concrete.
Let me ask another question.
Go ahead.
'Cause I
Do you
don't
agree
think-
what I just said, though?
Don't you? Wait.
You agree what I just said?
I agree.
In both cases, our book and your book, when it comes to the Most High God
Let me-
and the hereafter,
let me answer the
we
question
can't just concretize it like that.
Let me answer the
Go
question
ahead,
then.
go ahead.
Descriptions of God
Yep.
are not accurate in the sense that they cannot comprehend. But what you're missing is this isn't a description of God. This is the description of an action of a created thing.
Which includes,
Wait 1 second.
which must include.
1 second.
Go ahead.
It
Which
is
you
not.
included.
1 second.
Go.
It is not talking about a description of Allah. The one being described here is the creation.
Yes.
Some is a subcategory of there. There is a reference to us, the created thing, who have faces. That is a created thing. On a day, that is a created thing. That will beam in brightness and beauty, these are both created. Looking, that is the action of the beholder towards their Lord.
Stop.
Hold on 1
Okay,
second.
go on. You're in trouble now.
1 second. I fail to see how what you have said
Yes.
makes any
You're in
sense
trouble
of the Quranic verse that I'm reading,
Stop.
except by reducing the words of the Quran to such meaningless
Yep.
things that they don't mean anything at all.
Right.
And that means that your God is not a good
So, hold
communicator.
on. So what did you just say
Some
about the whole
places
verse?
in
Hold on.
Arabic it
Hold on,
doesn't
wait,
say.
wait,
This is
stop.
the same
Stop,
surah
wait,
in Arabic.
bro.
It doesn't say
Bro,
some
you can
places.
see. What did you say about the whole thing? It is a description, not of Allah. It's a description of what?
Of the one carrying out the action.
Right. So your whole point is using the verse
Yes.
to say that Allah is in creation.
Yes, He's
So
entered creation.
implicitly,
He's entered
you
vision.
have used that verse to give some sort of description of Allah, at the very least,
No, I haven't.
that He can be looked at, number one, and two, that he can come into creation, yes?
The logical implication.
No, I'm just making the point that
Yeah, but
despite you saying, hold on.
You got it quite wrong.
One sec, no, despite you saying
Go on, I'll let
that
you
this verse is only referring to human beings and their perception, I'm saying the whole reason you're using the verse is to say that Allah can come into creation and he can be looked at, which now is putting Allah in some form that he's concretized or whatever it is. So the discussion that has to be had, which I've put on the table, is the very nature of vision. You
Yes.
have forced me to get deep and scientific. Unfortunately, you were drowning, and
No,
I
not
didn't want
really.
to throw you a rubber dinghy, right? So the point is, unfortunately, my brother, when we're going to the hereafter, I suggest you understand symbolism. If you want, I can go and study this verse
Yes, please.
specifically for you.
Let's do that, and
Right?
let's come
and
back.
then we come back to it.
Yeah.
But fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
But bro, I think, I want to leave you with this
Go
thought.
on, go on.
If you look into it,
Yeah.
and you discover that actually it... One
I'd
second.
have no problem with it, seriously.
Right, so
I would-
I
whatever it
just
says-
want to
yeah.
ask you a quick
Yeah,
question.
Go on.
Do you believe that Allah can enter into his creation?
In relation to literally, no.
Right.
But conceptually, yes.
Right.
I believe that let me make this statement so you'll understand me.
Okay.
I believe
One
that all
second.
things are a manifestation
One
of
second.
Allah's names.
Right.
Do you
So
understand
one
that?
second.
Yeah.
Because you have compromised the division between Allah and creation. And if you're willing,
Compromise, I've just given you what the
you're
Quran
willing,
is saying.
if you're willing to rupture the barrier, I don't have an argument.
It's not rupture.
That is the quickest way to kill my argument. You just rupture the barrier.
You
But
agree
then
the
you don't
Quran-
criticize
one
the
second.
incarnation
No,
of Christ.
Hold on. Do you agree that the Quran says that Allah blew his spirit into Adam?
Yes.
So you already know there's this particular dispute. So for
Yes.
instance, it says Allah taught Adam all the names.
Yes.
There's communication directly.
Yes.
So when you're
I
saying,
know.
listen what I'm saying. When you're saying looking at, looking could be your imaginary thing. No, listen to
No,
what I'm saying.
that's not looking.
No, listen to what I'm saying. We all can say, I saw that, oh no, that's not him.
That's not looking.
Let me finish, I'm
That's
making a point.
imagining.
Listen to what I'm saying. All looking goes to the imaginary faculty, bro. You can't deny
No,
that.
it doesn't.
I want to ask you a question.
Listen
No, it
what I'm saying.
doesn't.
All right, listen to my point. I'm saying when you're speaking, it's a constant reciprocal thing. You
Yes.
understand the point? Right. So I'm saying it's much more than just seeing, because seeing is only your
And
part.
this is why, brother, you should abandon Islam. This is why you
Brother,
should abandon
you know
Islam.
what? I
Let me
think
finish.
I'm
Let
gonna
me
get deep
finish.
with you.
You've just destroyed Islam. Let me finish.
I haven't.
You've
I've given you
oh,
the Islam
one
and the Quran.
Bro,
You've been debating
bro,
the Sunni pagans.
Bro,
That's
let
different.
me have
your
one more word and
text
let's just stop.
Okay.
Right, you should abandon Islam because you have admitted,
Yes.
right, that there is communication, direct communication between the creation and the creator.
All Muslims say that.
That is more than simply power, that it is actually the entering into creation of Allah himself,
I didn't say that.
right?
I didn't say that.
He directly speaks to Adam.
I didn't say that either. I said
Adam
communication.
speaks to
I said
Allah.
communication.
It says here that they see Allah. You can't see, and it's talking about what they do. Now I'm going to really finish a point, right? They are looking towards their Lord. That is the act of seeing, and if that is an act of what the humans are doing on the day of resurrection. They are looking towards their Lord. The day is created, the people are created, and the vision is created, the direction is created. That means for this verse to be true, Allah has entered his creation. If he has not entered into his creation, then this verse is false. Either way, you have a contradiction. Either way, the Quran is wrong. Either way, you need to abandon Islam.
Well, that's not
By
the
the way,
case.
same
Maybe
Bro, I'm
one
going to
second.
stop. I'm going to stop. I've been here a while. I've been here a while.
Fair enough.
So the debate centered on Surah 75:22-23, which says that on the day of judgment, faces will be radiant, looking at their Lord. And when pressed on what that really means, the Muslim counterpart waffled, comparing it to illusions. But here's the problem. If vision is a created act and believers are created beings, then seeing requires that Allah be in some relation to creation, spatially, temporally, or perceptually. Yet Islam insists he remains utterly outside of creation at all times. That's not a mystery. That's a contradiction. In contrast, Christianity doesn't dance around this tension. We believe God made himself known. visibly, personally, in Jesus Christ, not by compromising his nature, but by lovingly entering the world he made. You don't need to waffle or stretch logic to believe in a God who reveals himself. You just need to be willing to receive him